Greater Good Radio. Connect, learn, heal, and grow.
I've talked about this with Dick Schwartz and Bessel van der Kolk, who wrote the book, The Body Keeps the Score, that one of the main techniques, if people are traumatized, is to dissociate. You know, it's not happening to you. You're not there, particularly if it's very painful. You kind of dissociate. And so what MDMA does is it helps you to collect your parts. So it's, in a way, the opposite of dissociation. It's collecting you together. There's actually a researcher, Dr. Steve Martyr, that's starting a study for MDMA for schizophrenia. And in schizophrenia, we think about it as your parts are split apart and you're not in touch with all of your full self. So the MDMA lowers the fear. It reduces activity in the amygdala, our fear processing part of the brain, and it helps people to process difficult emotions. It makes people better listeners. It sort of quiets a lot of the parts of our mind that's thinking, what am I going to do next? What have I just done? And you become more into the moment. And it releases oxytocin, which is the hormone of love and nursing mothers and connection. So you feel really safe and grounded and connected, and you want to socialize and you want to see people as who they really are. So that acts as in a different way than the classic psychedelics. Ketamine is called a dissociative anesthetic, but in anesthesia, you go out to the point where you don't remember anything and your body can be operated on. But the psychedelic dose is roughly 1/10 the anesthetic dose. And so you have to kind of modulate the dose carefully so that you can remember what happened, and you have that. Then there's 5-MeO-DMT, otherwise known as the toad. It's the venom of a toad. It's more like the classic psychedelics, except it's just this instantaneous blast off to this unitive state, and it only lasts 10 minutes or 15 minutes. So there's different psychedelics that do different kind of things, and what we're trying to do is bring forward the entire field of psychedelic medicine. So even though MAPS as a nonprofit is focused on MDMA research and other companies are focused on psilocybin research, our goal is really twofold. One is to open the door for pathways through the FDA and through other regulatory agencies around the world to make psychedelics into medicines. Then the other is to do drug policy reform, to make them available for people who just want personal growth or just want a spiritual experience, or maybe want to do it for depression but want to do it with peer support. So I think that there should be free access for adults in what we call licensed legalization. So what that means is that if you're a drunk driver, for example, you can get arrested for drunk driving, you lose your driver's license, but you can walk into any bar or liquor store and still buy alcohol. But your problems were caused, your social problems to others were caused by alcohol. So what I think we should do is switch to a drug policy where you have a license to do different drugs, the same way that we have a license to drive a car. And if you screw up in the car, you lose your license. If you screw up under the influence of drugs and do something that hurts somebody else or potentially even hurt yourself is not really a wise thing, then you can lose your license to buy that drug for a period of time while you get some sort of an education class or something. So I think that we should have this license legalization, we have medicalization, and then psychedelic churches, which are growing in popularity and all over the country, actually, and there's very little enforcement on them. So one of my favorite examples is the Church of Ambrosia, which is in the Bay Area. It has 100,000 members, and they provide mushrooms to members of the church.
Is that like Oakland?
Yeah, yes. You guessed. I think all of these kind of ways to try to help people understand what we mean by psychedelic.
If you resonate with Greater Good Radio, please join our community at www.greatergoodradio.com, where you can get access to exclusive content and offerings. Hope to see you soon.